if I would freeze, it would be great if someone could tell me, because I had in the morning some internet issues, not that I'm talking and no one hears me anymore. That would be cool. Thanks a lot. All right. Then I just share my screen. 1 second. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. All right, great. Then I officially welcome everyone and thanks a lot for joining us today for this kickoff session. And first of all, I would like to thank all of you for your interest and taking part in the program, and a special welcome. I haven't seen Lara yet, but Sebastian, as he was already a mentor before, and I'm always happy to see when a mentor joins again for the next session. All right, so before I kick off, I would like to shortly introduce you to the team from us. Unfortunately, I'm the only one today who makes it because the other ones are busy, but you will meet them for sure another time. So I would start with myself. I'm Maya, and I work now for over 5 years for education, and I was also involved in the development of the e-mentoring program in 2020. And I will be your main contact person for you, but also for your mentees. And then we have Victor. He's based in Kenya, and he's basically my deputy. So when I'm on holiday, he will, if you have a question during that time, he will help you. And he's also here in case there are some cultural question about Kenya. And then we have Maria from the Philippines and Abidat from Ghana. They basically are here mostly in case I need some help to reach out to your mentees, or also if they're cultural question, and you will for me sure meet them in another session we have all together. All right. So before we deep dive into the e-mentoring program, I also would like to first give you a short introduction about education for the ones who don't know us, and also tell you a little bit more about your mentees and about their backgrounds. So as education, we award scholarships to underprivileged and high-performing talents in Kenya and the Philippines. And when they get this scholarship, basically they also start a long life learning journey, because in the scholarship, but also after the scholarship, they have access to our mentoring. We have a very variety of mentoring and coaching program. The e-mentoring is one of it. And also we support them in the transition after school into employment or entrepreneurship, and we do this via career programs and fair, and also for our startup fund program. These are like boot camps where they learn about startups, but then also they can apply for seed money. I'm sure most of your mentees have already visited one of our programs, or they will in the future. So I'm sure you will learn a little bit more about these programs as well through your mentees. And last but not least, we also connect all our talents from Kenya, the Philippines, and Ghana via our alumni network platform, which is something between, I would say, LinkedIn and Facebook. It's called GYLA, which is the short form for Global Young Leaders Alliance. And I will talk a little bit more about it in the end of this kickoff session. So now maybe the most interesting part of today's session is, who are your mentees? What are your background of your mentees? So as said, the mentees you will face, they all from very humbled backgrounds, and they received a scholarship from us, or they took part in one of our program, like a startup academy or in a career academy or something like that. To take part in this program, or also receiving a scholarship from us, they go through a very intense application process where they have to show us that they're from a humble background, that they are very bright and motivated students, and they have to fill out a lot of forms and etc. Also for this e-mentoring program, they had to apply, and they had to fill out their motivation as well what's their goals during this 1 year. They often come from big families, have many siblings, and facing numerous challenges like death in the families, illnesses, unemployment, etc. And maybe important to know, most of them, your mentees, they will live still at home or they will live in student dorms. That means they don't have that much privacy. So when they're still living at home, they probably share 1 or 2 rooms with their whole family. And also in the student dorms, they're sharing room with 4 or 5 other students. Just keep that in mind. When you have a call with them, we always tell the mentees, hey, check, please take care that you have some privacy, find a spot where it's silent, but still it sometimes happens that people walking around in the background, or you feel like maybe your mentee cannot really tell what's on his heart. So then you can also tell him, hey, you can also type something or anything. Just keep that in mind. So the mentees you will meet, some are already working. They're already in their jobs, in their first jobs probably. Maybe they don't know if it's the really good job. Maybe they need some advice on that. Then some of them are just about to graduate, so they will finish university within the next month. So they probably will ask you to help with CVs, with interviews, or also what's the next steps. Maybe some want to apply for scholarships for abroad or scholarship for postgraduate, etc. And then we have also some who just joined university recently and just need guidance on that. Maybe they're the first time away from home, etc. All of them will be between, I think the youngest we have is 19 and the oldest is around 25 years old. Before I go now into the e-mentoring program, is there already any questions about education or your mentee, like the background of them? I take the silent as a no, and in case there are questions coming up, we still have time in the end. All right. So after this short introduction about education and also the mentees, I will just go very quickly again, what's the e-mentoring program and its objectives. Then I will talk a little bit about building trust. Then the goal setting, which is an important part of the whole program, the mentoring journeys, and in the end, some admin topics. All right. So very shortly again, what is the education e-mentoring program? So in the education e-mentoring program, we empower the education students and alumni with the help of you. And we like to enable you as the mentor to create an impact that you can develop your interpersonal skills and collaborate with young talents from other cultures. And not forget, and I think also quite an important part, is that we want to create a fun learning experience for you and your mentees. Maybe also as a quick reminder, what is the e-mentoring and what it isn't. So the mentoring is a unique relationship marked by a bond of trust and respect between you and your mentee. You as the mentor offer guidance and new learning opportunities for them. And this is all happening in a safe place where you can share professional and personal success, but also, of course, failures. And it is important that both of you want to have this relationship to work. Therefore, both parties need to agree and commit time to develop the relationship, have regular meetings, and also, of course, honor each other. And then also, I think even more important, what it is not the e-mentoring. So we don't expect you to be your mentee's psychologist. This is very important to point out, because if you feel you're in a situation where the mentee needs different kind of help, you need to flag this out to us. It's not that big problem anymore, but especially during the COVID time, we had quite a lot of people who really had bad depression. In the Philippines, I think there was a 2-year lockdown, so it was the longest lockdown in the world, and they were like not able to leave house, etc. So we had quite a lot of very bad anxieties, depressions. So in case this is happening to, or you feel like your mentee has one of these problems, please flag it out to us. Meanwhile, we have some partner organization and we can refer them to them. And then also important, maybe more important for your mentee, we also flagged it to them, but also that you know, the mentorship, it's not a friendship relationship. Of course, it's friendly and of course it can turn into friendship, but it's not expected that this is going to happen. The chance is quite high that they probably ask you at one point for maybe your Facebook contact or Instagram or whatever. And this is up to you afterwards if you would like to share it with them or not. We have some mentors and mentees in the past. They were like, was very much a friendly relationship. They were sharing pictures with each other when one was at a wedding or something like that. They were sending pictures to each other. But then we also have relationships who really, really only, like I would call it, business relationship. So it's really up to you how you feel about that. Then I would like to go very shortly as well, again, through the objectives. First of all, objectives for the mentors. You will exercise your emotion intelligence. Then hopefully you will shape the leaders of tomorrow. As I said, you will be surprised. They're all from Hamburg background. However, they're very ambitious people, very intelligent. So, and of course, we hope someone they will be the leaders of tomorrow. You hopefully will gain some new perspectives and you refresh your ideas. First of all, probably from some of you, different generation and then also different culture. We hope you become a better leader so that it helps you as well when you have to listen actively to your mentee, you have to give them advice, etc. You will be in touch with younger generation. I think for most of you, I'm not sure if you have such a young mentor who is also for 25, but I guess most of you are in touch with a younger generation. And then, of course, feel good about yourself. And then shortly for the mentees, the objectives, they will expand their knowledge and skills through valuable advices from you. When you will meet them, most of them, they will have quite a low self-esteem, low confidence, and hopefully they can increase their self-awareness and build confidence during this 1 year. And then they hopefully establish and reach goals towards a more fulfilling job, or maybe they don't have a job yet, so more reach goals and get the job or more fulfilling degree. Then I'm sure they will learn new perspectives and ways of thinking and improve their communication skills. And I think what also very important for them is, and quite often this is also one of their goals, is build and expand their professional network. When we were developing this whole program, it was in 2020, just shortly after Corona started. We were sitting as well together with our team in the Philippines and Kenya, and we're discussing what is important for these mentees. And we read about it, but we also heard from our team in Kenya and the Philippines that in an online setting, I mean, in general, that they will open, they're young, they haven't met a lot of international people, that they will open up in an online setting especially. It's very important that this relation is built on trust and that you build up the trust. As a mentor, if you want or not, you will be in a higher power seat in this pairing. First of all, they see you as, well, first of all, you're the mentor, so they see you as more older, probably more professional. And then also, unfortunately, there is still this dynamics between global and North. So they're like, oh, you're from Europe. So you are in this power seat automatically, even if you don't want. So therefore, it's also on you to start building this trust, or yeah. And we suggest it in the following ways. First of all, very important, you have to listen to them. So listen how they feel, how they're doing, what they want to do, and not interrupt them. Just listen to them so they feel heard. And secondly, keep your promises. Not only promises like, yeah, we will meet or be there on time, etc., but also, and we think it's the most important promise, to be confidential and keep the privacy. So create a safe space where he can open up or she can open up, and that they know you will not, after the call, will run to someone and tell or whatever, or be the dinner table conversation. I mean, of course, there will be probably things you would like to discuss with someone. Then, of course, you are allowed to do. But I mean, if they tell you something in secret, that you also keep it. Also, just for your information, I will follow up on you and also on your mentee. However, I will never ask what you're talking about. Of course, if you feel like you need to share it with us, you can share it with us, but we will never actively ask you. And then also the third point is report through self-disclosure. What we mean is that you are also very open to them about mistakes you made, about weaknesses, about failures, but also what you learned from these failures, so that they see you're also human and you're also making mistakes and failures, but you also learned from these mistakes. So sharing your personal experience always helps a lot for building trust. After the building trust, next point, who is very important, or we think, and also why we do this e-mentoring. Of course, it should not be just chit chat. I mean, it can be, of course, chit chat, but there should be also some goals which they reach within this 1 year. So as I said, basically when they applied, they had to write down already 2 to 3 goals they have. However, these goals are very, very general for the moment. And yeah, just basically they wrote down what came probably into their mind. So your role as a mentor is helping to formulate these goals and also keep track of these goals. So what we suggest would be a maximum of 3 goals during this 1 year. Because yeah, in the end, 1 year, I guess, sounds quite long, but Fatima just said, right, time is running always very fast. So 1 year will be also over quite soonish. Then also, I mean, as said before, maybe you have a goal for this mentoring program as well, or maybe, I'm sure every one of us is working on a 1 year goal at the moment, at work or at home, wherever. So also maybe share a goal of you so that they understand. And we, as an example, or also as a help, we would suggest to work with SMART goals. I think SMART goals every one of you knows. Otherwise, SMART stands for specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timely. However, if you have another idea or a better approach to find some goals for this program, please also use it. It's up to you, basically, how it feels best for you. As said, after you give the example, you can help them also formulating their goals through SMART methodology. If you have one you prefer, of course, also through another methodology. It could be that they have very big goals, which are probably hard to reach within 1 year. If they have 2 big goals, maybe you can break it down, these goals, so to make it not that big. And then help your mentee to keep track of these goals, to monitor the goal. Maybe you can set monthly tasks. it's very high probability that these goals maybe also will change within this 1 year, so that you maybe don't stick the whole time on this one goal. Now, how does the e-mentoring works, the whole program? As I said, it's 1 year, and we came up basically with 16 sessions. Why 16 sessions? We thought about how many sessions in 1 year would be feasible, but also make sense. And then also we thought about how much it needs to maybe gain trust and to come out, like to work as well on goals, right? So that's how we came up with 16 sessions. Sometimes a pair has way more sessions than 16, another one has less than 16. Just that you know, I don't come and check and ask and how many goals you had. In the end, it has to be, it's for you and your mentee, right? And I mean, you are maybe sometimes busy, or your mentor is sometimes, and your mentee is sometimes busy. So I don't force you, and I don't come after 1 year like, oh, you had no 16 sessions, that this is really bad or something. So it's really up to you. You know best how much it's needed. The whole program is basically semi-structured, and what that means, I would like to explain a little bit now. So the next 2 weeks, you probably will all have your first session, maybe also only in 3 weeks. No pressure on that. And you all will start with the first 3 sessions. So these 3 sessions, we basically came up to get to know each other, to build trust, but also self-awareness. And then you have like session 4 to 15, where you can work on the individual goals and topics of your mentees. And then we would just like to ask you again that you use our material for our last session, which is the closure. That it's very important. We think official closure is very important to recognize each other, to recognize the achievements, and also to discuss the way forward with each other. So to give you a little bit more detail, basically on session 1, it's all about introducing each other. Who are you? Maybe you can already talk a little bit about goals, about expectations, but then also admin discussions. Where do you want to meet? How regularly you want to meet, etc. After the first session, the mentee should come back to me and let me know that you had your first session. And then I will send you and your mentee a code to do a Gallup Strength Finder test. Maybe some of you already knows. It's a personality test, which is all about strengths. You will receive this code, your mentee as well, and you will both do this test, of course, and then share, before you have your second session, the results with each other. And then the second session is basically all about your strengths, getting yours and of course your mentee strengths. And then in session 3, you will start to work on the goals. So to discuss what goals, what do you want to reach within the next 1 year. We have it as one session. However, I'm totally aware quite a lot of times it needs a little bit more than one session. Also, if you feel like you still need to work a little bit more on the trust, you also can, of course, still work longer on that than only 3 sessions. After that, we developed 3 different journeys. One journey is interpersonal skill, then we have one on career and job market, and one on creativity and innovation. All these journeys are 6 sessions. You can choose, do you want to follow a journey? You can choose, you only want to have 1 or 2 sessions out of these journeys, but of course you can always use as well your material. We basically just provided this material that that we basically, in the beginning, we just wanted always that everyone can take part in the e-mentoring program. Also people who never did never were mentors, people with no experience, and we just basically prepared this material as help, as a support. However, as said, you don't have to use it. It's just as a support if needed. But of course, sometimes one of the goals has nothing to do with career and job market or creativity and innovation or interpersonal skills. So then, of course, you don't need to use it. What we ask again would be that you use the termination session basically to end the whole relationship. I will show you one of the session. That's always how a session looks like. It's always one page. And normally we just give you some recommended structures, some questions you could work on, some topics. You will always find some links to articles, to some videos, etc. We will provide you with all this material on our platform, which I will talk very shortly as well about it. Before I go to the admin topics, is there any questions so far about the structure or anything else? I take the silent as a no. I hope I'm still here. Then last but not least, we are already here. The admin topics. I already raised it a little bit before. It can happen that there will be some situation which you should flag to the team. So these situations could be the mentee asks for money or for any other help beyond the scope. I mean, we tell these mentees they're not allowed to do. Unfortunately, it happens very rarely, but it can happen. Please let us know if this is happening. In case it's happening, we would reach out to them and see what's the problem, how we can support them otherwise, or yeah, just not that you feel, and especially don't feel obligated to help in any other way than with this e-mentoring. We think, or we are already very thankful that you spending your free time and your expertise to support them. So it's already a lot we ask for. So please don't feel any obligation or so. Then already as well share with you if there is any issue which is more psychological in nature, serious depression, anxiety, self-harm, or whatever. Please also raise it to us. We have some partners, we have some own programs, and we could take it up. And then it can also just happen that there are situations you don't feel comfortable with. Maybe there are some cultural misunderstandings or some cultural differences and you're just not sure. Then please also reach out to us. I would also connect you with a local expert, and then we can share it. We had once a mentee who was very, very scared of ghosts, and then we found out it's something quite common in the Philippines, but the mentor just didn't know how to handle that. Then I would also send you within the next year, I would send you again 2 to 3 invites for some experience sharing sessions, where also the team from Kenya, the Philippines, and Abidat from Ghana will join. So there you can ask basically cultural questions, can ask questions about the program, but also can ask the other mentors about their experience or their expertises. It's not mandatory to take part, but of course it's always nice if we have a nice group. The first time it will happen, I would say, in around 1.5 to 2 months. Then you're probably all more or less around the goal setting session in the goal setting. And normally the experience is that this is the most difficult part. So there it's always good to basically share some experience with each other. In this first session in 2 months around, I will also give you a short introduction into Get Abstract. Maybe some of you know them. Then they summarize books basically, and they have as well a program. It's called Actionables, where there are some learning videos and sessions, and you and your mentee, you will get free access to this learning platform for the next 12 months. So you will get an introduction into that as well. And then, yeah, also maybe important to say in the beginning, I will probably get back to you more regularly, send you emails, how it's going, if everything is okay. However, I'm not a micromanager, and I also know that you are busy and probably don't have time all the time to look into your email boxes. So I also, if I don't hear from you or your mentee, I assume everything goes well. So please, if always, also don't wait for this experience sharing session. Please always get back to me if there is any question, if there is any problem, you cannot reach out your mentee or whatever. Then we point 3, digital tools and Gaila. So how you connect with your mentee, it's up to you and your mentee. Quite often Zoom works very well, but I think most of the mentees also get more and more used to MS Teams, maybe some like Skype, not sure, or Google Call, I think Google Meet it's called. So discuss that with your mentee, what works best. I would like to ask you to always put on your video, and they also always put on their video, or I told them they should always put on their video. However, there can be sometimes some connection issues, but also some privacy matters, as I told the people walking all the time around them, and then they feel uncomfortable. Please, if you feel like why he ask them as well, or also tell them, hey, please put on your camera. I guess especially in the beginning, they will be a little bit shy on that. We also provide them with data and laptops if needed. So in case you still feel their laptop is very shitty, or they're always on their phone, or you have bad connection, tell them, hey, please reach out to Maya. She can provide you with data and laptops. Still, I already would like to mention, even though they get data and a laptop, there can still be sometimes some connection problems. First of all, they can be maybe in a very rural area, or then also heavy rain influences the data connection also a lot. Or last week in the Philippines, we had almost 16 hours of power shutdown. So I would like to ask you as well for a little bit of patience, especially for the first, I would say, 1 to 3 sessions. Normally, they need to find as well a good place where it's silent and where they have good connection, or yeah. So I would like already ask you for patience. I said already, try what works best for you. As an advice, I would also discuss with them in your first meeting through which platform you would like to connect between the sessions. So if there is something, should they reach out to you via email, or you prefer WhatsApp, your personal email, or whatever. So it just in case they have an urgent question, or maybe also if they have to cancel last minute. I mean, I tell them they should not, but then maybe you also have to cancel once last minute because there is another meeting coming up, or an exam or something like that. And I've already mentioned all the material is going to be on our alumni platform. It's called Gaila. I have created a group with all the mentees in there, and all the material is there. Unfortunately, your UBS email does not allow you to go on Gaila. Therefore, I have basically created a dummy, so you can all use this dummy to log in and surf around on this platform. If someone would like to have its personal access, just send me your private email, and then I can send it to you. And then already the last 2 points. We tell the mentee that they are in charge of scheduling. However, I guess especially in the beginning, it's helpful if you can give him or her a hand. And also what we recommend is already schedule the next session in your before you end the call. Excuse me. And then just to let you know, sorry. After this call, I will send you the contacts and the CV of your mentee. And I will also send your contacts to them. And I told them to get in touch with you by the end of the week. So if you have not heard from them until Monday morning, sorry. Please let me know. All right. All right, so that's actually already it. Now I'm open for question. I'm sorry, I'm unmute myself for a bit to drink.
Hi, hello. So I will spare you some time to speak, so I can speak a little bit. And now I just have a simple question. Like we spoke about different of cultures and this type of things. So question on topics to avoid the usual sensitive, I don't know, religious, political questions, comments, whatever.
I think there is not a specific topic. What I would recommend is always if you have like like politic or whatever, maybe ask them in the beginning or tell them as well, hey, you don't have to answer if you don't want. How I experience that they are quite open. I always thought, for example, in the Philippines, well, in the Philippines for sure, they should not speak openly about politics. However, they do it or they like it quite a lot to do it with one-to-one. So yeah, I recommend you just, if you have more sensitive questions, tell them before, hey, I have a question, but of course you don't have to answer that. We also tell that to them, that they should ask you beforehand, is it okay if I ask you this question? And also, I mean, if they ask you a question you don't feel comfortable, also tell them and tell them, hey, I don't want to tell you that. I mean, maybe for Kenya, we have Fatima in the call. She's half Kenyan, I think. Maybe Fatima, do you know one thing you should not ask in Kenya?
Yeah, depending on which or from which region the mentee comes. For example, in the Islamic part, they are very religious and very strict, depending on the places. For example, people from the East Coast, they are very is conservative the right word? But yeah, very strictly religious. So if you may be more liberal or open, just be also aware that whether if it's religious or sexual aspect has in it, pay attention to that. That is very a sensitive topic for them. And there is, yeah, to just say it plump, the Islam is on top of everything. So never ever, I mean, we are not rude, right? But maybe if you have not yet had contacts to or touch points to people from this religion, you might also not be aware that if you are saying something that might come over a little bit rude or very private. So maybe be aware of it, that it can be very sensitive as well.
I just checked. I think we don't have in this round anyone from Islamic background, at least. However, just to add as well, especially like homosexuality, etc.
It's
I
also
mean,
very strict.
they are, let's say, if you are homosexual, maybe don't tell it from the beginning. to anyone in Kenya. The Philippines is way more open to that, but in Kenya, even if they are open people, maybe in the beginning you can also have a discussion on homosexuality, but maybe don't speak it out already in the beginning and talk about your partner, etc.
And also, but this is kind of another topic which counts also for other, let's say, African countries, or of course other countries in the world as well, but also Kenya is, yeah, so to say, a corrupt country as well. So people, let's say sometimes, but they will always see an opportunity, and I don't mean the mentees obviously, but also people around them, and maybe elderly people as well. They try every opportunity to, if you're nice and everything, blah blah blah, maybe don't try not to be too nice or get overwhelmed with, yeah, how should I put it nicely? Be aware to not get kind of tricked. And of course, they don't mean it mean or in a bad way, but as it is, I mean, we are in a well-developed country as well, and also in that aspect, if you have never had experiences or touch points with aspect like that, you probably just mean it in a good way to maybe give something there and there, or I don't know, especially if the friendship maybe really gets into a, let's say, friendship, and you're maybe a little bit naive. Also try to maybe step two or make 2 steps back to, especially in that regard, have maybe still a little distance.
Yeah, and of course, if you're unsure, then let us know, and we can, yeah, have a call as well with someone from the team and discuss it. Oh, yeah, that's never a problem. Thank you, Fatima.
Sure.
Matteo, did it answer your question? Yes.
Yes.
Great.
Thanks for the reply.
Any other questions?
A question about all the technologies that you mentioned.
Yes.
So these are certainly not UBS approved communication technologies. So did I understand correctly that I'm more as a private persona here and less as an employee persona?
I mean, I know for sure that some other mentors from UBS also did it during their work hours from their work time. I'm not sure how they used it. Maybe because I'm not sure what's your regularly your rules, right, within UBS. Maybe we could take this up with Karen. I will write her and CC you or CC everyone in the thing. Yeah. So as I know, quite a lot of them used Zoom, and I know for sure they used it as well during their work hours. Yeah. But I can unfortunately not tell you more about rules within UBS. I'm sorry for that.
All right, thanks.
Any other question? And otherwise, I hope you understood my last sentence that I sent you today, the email with the contact and the CV of your mentee. I will do the same to, well, not your CV, but your name and your contacts to your mentee today. And I asked them already. I had also a kickoff with them last week to reach out to you within until Sunday. So if you have not heard from them until Monday morning, please let me know. I mean, I will also follow up with them as well, but let me know if you have not heard from them. Maybe also check your spam folder. Sometimes I think they don't know, not all of them are aware that the good email address is important in the future, like with your name. So they have sometimes a little bit funny email addresses. So there is a probability that it ends up in the spam folder at UBS. yeah, every year we have the same problem. I'm normally also in your spam folders, so yeah, maybe check there as well. Any other question? And as said, otherwise, if questions are coming up, please always reach out to me. And also, I mean, you can do it via email. However, we can also have another call with each other. No problem at all. I'm here. I'm working Monday to Thursday. And if it's something urgent, I can also, as said, Victor is here as well. Great, then I guess it's a no, and I'm sure you're all hungry as well. So thanks a lot for taking your time. Thanks a lot for being here as a mentor. I really appreciate it, and I looking forward to the next 1 year to work with you as well, and looking forward to see you in another call. And until then, I wish you a good day and enjoy your lunch.
Thank you very much for the introduction.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
Bye-bye.
day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you all.